Please be kind and generous, subscribe, share, and drop a hello in the comments. Your support means more videos. I came home with my daughter. My wife was waiting for us, holding an old wooden box. With an innocent smile, she opened it and showed us what was inside. Suddenly, my daughter screamed at the top of her lungs, frozen in shock and horror. To explain, we have to go back 4 years. At that time, there were 3 of us, my wife, our teenage daughter, and me. We lived in a small rental home in a small province. One weekend, as usual, we were driving to visit my parents in another province. Since their health wasn't great, I made it a point to see them every week. That routine continued for a while, until one particular day. While driving, I decided to take a shortcut down a road I'd never been on before. The road was lined with large trees and single-family homes on both sides. Suddenly, my eyes caught one particular house. From the outside, it was a beautiful 2-story home, well-designed and private, but despite its charm, it was clearly neglected. The lawn was overgrown with wild tall grass. Massive trees cast deep shadows, making the house look dark and hidden. It stood alone, set apart from the other homes in the neighborhood. I stopped the car in front of the house and peered through the fence. I thought, it would be amazing if we could live here. My wife and daughter looked too, and they felt the same way. The 3 of us started dreaming about how lovely it would be to call that place our home someday. A few weeks later, while driving down the same road, we saw a new sign posted in front of the house. It said the property was going up for auction under the foreclosure department. The previous owner had gone bankrupt and was in significant debt, forcing the house into repossession. We were suddenly filled with excitement. Could this be our chance to finally own a beautiful, spacious home at a price we could actually afford? When auction day came, we went to participate, and as if it were meant to be, we won the bid. We got the house at an unexpectedly low price. We were overjoyed, barely thinking about why it was so cheap. We were just thrilled to finally own a home. Even though it looked old and needed repairs, something about it felt special, charming even. But when we stepped inside for the first time, it wasn't anything like what I had imagined. The atmosphere was gloomy and heavy, almost suffocating. The first thing we saw upon entering was a large hall with old parquet wood floors that creaked with every step. The walls were covered in faded wallpaper, peeling off in sheets you could pull away by hand. To the left was the living room, filled with old furniture left behind by the previous owner. An old blue-gray sofa sat in the middle, covered in a thick layer of dust. There was a wooden TV stand, a glass cabinet, and other household items, as if the former owner had left in a hurry, taking nothing with them. Next to the living room was the kitchen, in much the same condition. There was a sink, a gas stove, and an aging dining table, all worn out and decaying. Upstairs, there were 3 bedrooms, each one also filled with furniture left behind. After exploring the whole house, I couldn't help but wonder, why did the previous owner leave everything behind? Every item was still there, as if they had just walked out and never come back. I scanned the space, looking around. The old house was thick with dust. Just one look at it told me there was still a lot of work ahead. My family and I had our hands full. The 3 of us spent several days cleaning, scrubbing every corner and organizing the place. After all that effort, the house finally became clean enough to move into. Our first night in the new home seemed normal, at least at first, but then something strange happened to our daughter. As she lay in bed in the small bedroom, just after turning off the light, a chill ran down her spine. It was that eerie feeling you get when you sense someone is watching you. She felt, clearly, that someone or something was staring at her from the darkness. At the time, she brushed it off. After all, we had just moved in. It was probably nerves, the unfamiliar surroundings, and a bit of unease, perfectly normal under the circumstances, but that wasn't all. That night, after falling asleep, she had a dream. In it, she saw an older man, well-dressed, wearing glasses with neatly cut hair. The unsettling part was that the dream took place in the exact bedroom she was sleeping in. In the dream, the man stood silently at the foot of her bed, staring at her without a word. She woke up startled the next morning, but kept it to herself, thinking it was just a random dream. The following night, something strange happened again, this time involving the whole family. In the middle of the night, while everyone slept, I woke up to the sound of footsteps in the hallway. Heavy footsteps, pacing slowly back and forth, accompanied by a dragging noise, like shuffling feet across the floor. Then suddenly, the small bedroom door slammed shut by itself, startling us all. My wife and I rushed out of bed to check. When we opened the door, the room was empty. There was no sign of anything unusual, no explanation for the sounds. The next morning, our daughter finally shared her unsettling experiences. She described the feeling of being watched and the recurring dreams about the silent older man. I tried to reassure her gently, saying it was probably just stress from the move, and told her not to dwell on it. Later that day, our daughter and I left the house, leaving my wife to continue cleaning. While tidying up the storage room, she found an old box. Inside was a photo album filled with pictures of the family who had lived there before. Later that evening, when our daughter and I returned home, my wife showed us the photos.
"Hey, look what I found,"
she said. But the moment our daughter saw one of the pictures, she gasped in shock and screamed. The man in the photo, the apparent head of that household, was the very same man who had appeared in her dreams the past 2 nights. After that, the strange incidents escalated. My wife and I decided to look deeper into the history of the house. The next morning, we walked over to a neighbor's home a short distance away and knocked on the door. An elderly woman answered. We introduced ourselves and explained that we had just moved in. Then we asked if she knew anything about the house's past. She invited us inside, and once we were seated, I began to share everything we had experienced since moving in. The old woman's face grew visibly troubled as I spoke. When I finished, she sighed heavily and began to share the truth. The house had once belonged to a well-known family in the neighborhood. The father was a respected doctor. But after his wife and daughter died suddenly, he changed. He became withdrawn and refused to leave the house. Before long, rumors spread that he had become addicted to gambling and had fallen into deep debt. Neighbors tried to help, but he refused. He wouldn't even let anyone inside. Then one day, the doctor took his own life, in the small bedroom on the second floor. After that, the house was abandoned. No one wanted anything to do with it. Many people began encountering strange occurrences during the daytime, even at times when others were regularly passing by. Some claimed to see a man walking back and forth inside the house, despite it supposedly being empty. At night, eerie sounds would echo from within, with no apparent source. Everyone in the community knew very well that the house had been locked up and that no one was living there, without a doubt. Because of this, people widely believed that the spirits of the doctor and his family hadn't been freed, that they were still trapped inside, wandering restlessly. When my wife and I heard this, chills ran down our spines. We thanked the elderly woman for sharing the story and quietly made our way home, our hearts heavy. Deep down, we both knew we had to find a way to get out of that house, fast. We tried to hide our growing worry, especially from our daughter. We didn't want to scare her any more than necessary, but that very night, the strange occurrences only grew worse. While we were still downstairs, we suddenly heard heavy footsteps upstairs, pacing back and forth above us. Even more terrifying, our daughter said she saw a strange black shadow moving around inside her room while she was lying in bed. She was so frightened, she refused to sleep there again. That was the breaking point. My wife and I knew we couldn't put our family's safety at risk any longer. We immediately contacted real estate agents, desperate to sell the house as quickly as possible. We didn't care about the price. Even if we took a loss, getting out was what mattered most. Within just 3 days, we sold the house, though at a significant financial loss. We moved out and found a rental home instead. A year later, I learned the house had been abandoned once again. The new owner had tried to renovate the property, but soon faced the same eerie events and had to give up. The house was left to deteriorate, run down and overgrown. That house became a legend in the community. No one dared go near it. People could only hope the spirits haunting it would someday be freed and find peace.